E whiwhia whaatalo whātu, ia ele toi au nātu le prokalame, ia ele nevaiaso le Lakapi talk, leisi whapoponga e peo na iai, ia tanu mai le vaiaso o tōnai e whaamaloa tolso i fua maua, ia male langi mama, mālo le wholau, ia mālo le tau atai. Nātu pa ia masao le tātou tunu o le hata oto lava whaamaino tai loto, ia pa ia o Samoa e mai mavau e o le whaavau, e le toi au talaina i se whaatalanga, au le ua tātou whatasi, ia masui o le whatalanoanga le neiaso. Today we're joined by two men who proudly won the Manu Samoa jersey for the past years and are now leading the next generation of Samoan rugby. And of course, from the coaching box, Manu Samoa head coach Lemalu Pisi and assistant coach Kane Thompson. I'd like to welcome them to Lakapi Talk this day. Malo soi for gents.
Malo. Talofa.
Hey, how you guys been?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Spent the whole day in the sun. Obviously Kane was sunbathing and I was watching rugby.
Yeah, since the last couple of weeks, the announcement of the Manu, how's that been so far for you guys?
It's been good. Yeah, a few little, a little bit going on around it, but it's been great. I'm really excited by naming the squad and the players we've put together. So no, everyone's really excited for the upcoming tour.
Yeah, for the sake of our viewers, yeah, malmai mo mai le tanto tunu leo whalau I loa ia le au le Manu Samoa touring South America. The games that we'll be playing, Hong Kong, Georgia, and of course Romania in the beginning of July. And leading into that, just a few questions about selection, and if you could talk a little bit about the squad for the July international window, Lemalu.
Yeah, it's like Kane said, we're excited. There's a good mixture of experience and youth, which brings enthusiasm. And there's also players that we want to see in this campaign in terms of what they can bring and how we can continue to grow as a group. I think that's important. From the 𝐓𝐀𝐿, obviously we had majority of our players that were available for selection, and for this campaign, due to some unforeseen circumstances and other situations, that some players aren't available. It's good for those that have been selected to put up their hands and be able to show what they have and show their talents in front of the world.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about the restraints around some of the players in terms of Regulation 9, eligibility and all. But as head coach and of course our management group, the balance in trying to achieve between the experience and also the new generation coming up, leading into our journey to the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, like you're on a good balance of how we want to play as coaches and how we see our rugby heading towards, where the experience balances out the enthusiasm of the younger players coming through, where they're able to guide them in not having the younger players in their shells, but bringing out players that are artistic in terms of rugby terms, where we don't want them to be in their shells, but we want them to express themselves, where Manu Samoa has always been about.
From your perspective, Kaino, what stood out during the selection process for you?
Obviously a lot of talent to choose from. There is a few players unavailable. That's a great opportunity for the guys that are going to get to wear the blue jersey. The World Cup is next year, and I suppose the guys putting up their hand are the guys that wear the jersey. Unforeseen circumstances, family commitments, a few suspensions and whatnot. That's rugby. So we deal with it and excited with the squad that we've got together. And a mix of experience and youth as well. So it's going to be good. There's a challenge that lies ahead of us for sure. The three teams we have, it's going to be obviously tough. All at the World Cup, and so it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Yeah, we've got a good balance of a squad for the July window, but just some big names that have missed out. The obvious one being the captain, 𝐋𝐀𝐊𝐀𝐿 McFarlane. A few noises here and there about the Umanga, Scott Seal, and Melani Matavao. Those are some of the names that have been mentioned. Just a little clarity for the information of our viewers and also our supporters.
Yeah, I'll touch on those players. In terms of Theo, obviously our captain, he's applying for citizenship for him and his family, and he can't leave the country while he's in that process. In terms of Jacob Umanga, he's been playing fantastic over in Italy. He's probably one of the best players in Europe in terms of tens. He got suspended, which is unfortunate. And who else was there again?
Scott Seal,
and Sama Malolo.
Jacob.
Yeah. So those two, they're getting married. So congratulations. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's bad timing for us, but it's awesome, and for him and his family.
For Sama and
Sama and Scott. So and also Jacob's getting married too, but the week before. So those guys are getting married around July 4th, which is our first game. And Jacob Umanga is getting married the weekend before. So congratulations to those guys first and foremost.
Yeah.
And but for us, it's bad timing.
Melani Matavao, the story around his selection, again playing well for Moana by the sounds of some of the critics out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on Melani. Obviously, I don't want to get too much into detail of it, but he expressed to us when we were in the PNC last year that he had some problems with his concussions, and also that it would be his last, he'll be retiring from international rugby. So I don't really want to get into the personal detail of it, but that's probably the overview of it.
The importance of the July window and the bigger picture of our journey to the Rugby World Cup, how massive is that?
Well, I think it will give us a lot of clarity around our squad that we want to take into the November tour. It's not far away. Obviously, we're going to miss some of those players that you've talked around. They're a big part of the squad, but they'll only add when they come back into the squad in November. And like I say, it's a chance for these guys to put up their hands going forward for the Manu. And the other guys wearing the jersey, they're the best players that are selected for the Manu Samoa. So obviously we're going to get behind them. And as I said, we're excited around the squad we've got. And obviously we've got a job to do.
Also, just around like other players that are eligible come November, there's a few of them. The likes of Jordan Walese, that played for the Wallabies. The likes of Rob Milter. The likes of Sean Stevenson, that played a couple of tests for the AVs. Manu Tuilangi. So these are the players that we had a visitation in France to go see players.
𝐋𝐀𝐊𝐀𝐿 as well.
Yeah,
so.
𝐋𝐀𝐊𝐊𝐀𝐿, who's in Japan.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh Ioane. Yeah. So we saw these players when we had a visitation up in Europe, and they're really keen. But as we've told them, like, it doesn't matter if you have the best players, but we need them all to play together and have time on the field to build those combinations, build camaraderie. But I'm sure they'll get the opportunity when they are eligible.
Yeah, with the restrictions around eligibility, it won't be available until the end of the year. Some of those names that you guys mentioned, Regulation 9 constraints, that's been a hassle for us. How's that for selection for us?
For the moment, it obviously gives us a chance to build a big base of players. So, as I said, like it's Reg 9, most guys are available. It's a break this July series, but as I say, commitments come into it. But it's allowing us to get a base of players, get a look at players, so when moving forward we can actually select the best team that we can. But there's going to be suspensions
Yes.
come November. There's going to be injuries. That's the nature of the game. Every team in the world is struggling with that at the moment. So what it does give us is it gives us exposure. These players that are playing, they're going to get exposure to international rugby and some strong test matches coming up in July that obviously is going to allow us to obviously have faith. Obviously, they've been there in those big moments, some of those tough games, especially as being the forwards coach. Like the teams that we're playing are pretty strong up front. So we're going to get a really good test there. So it's going to test a lot of the new boys coming in at that international level.
Yeah, any players that forced their way through with the chances now, with other players not making it, that stand out with the selection?
We've taken some youth in there. Like we had Tael come in, a young player who joined us for a few training sessions, and all the coaches really impressed us. Like we just attitude, commitment, and so he's forced his way into the team. So he came on tour with us last year, joined us in Chile, but didn't get to play. But he's a player that I think is going to be really exciting for the future, that we want to give an opportunity in this environment and see how he comes on as a player. So definitely looking forward, and there's definitely a few more. Some old faces putting up their hand again, which is awesome to see how they'll go. Jeff Tumanga back there from the Reds, Richie Asiata, he's a new face, obviously been involved. Manaki Boyle-Tietia. So it's exciting to get a look at these players, get up close and in an environment where it's not just over the phone talking, getting to meet them, see how they are, characters, and get them involved in the environment. And hopefully they enjoy it and obviously want to be back in wearing blue.
Yeah, just on leadership, the importance of what leadership means for Manu Samoa, weaving in our culture and us as a family, as a unit, not just on the field, but off the field as well, especially this new group without our prominent leaders.
Yeah. Leadership for us is crucial in terms of intertwining culture and high performance. And I feel that the players that we have in the leadership group really brings that out, which the combination of the culture side of things, where it's really important to have that in the team, where because majority of the players, or some of the players, haven't really experienced Samoa culture. They haven't really been brought up with it. And so it's really
Samoa.
The fa Samoa. And I'll just give you an example. Last year we had guys that have never tried to speak Samoan in our lotus, which is really it was heartfelt and just touching. And in our culture, it's all about mocking, right? So when someone tries
the humor that we have,
the humor that we have, and if someone says something fishy, we all laugh, but then just around that situation where guys were trying to speak Samoan, which they were speaking Samoan in the lotos, was really it was touching for me, because then the guys around created that environment for them to actually do that, and that's it goes back to leadership.
Because you have looked at every day, every evening,
every night, every evening, prayers. So and each player gets an opportunity to read from the Bible.
So everyone has a chance to get up after the tour is done, eh?
Yeah, and which is difficult. It's not easy for players to speak in front of the group.
In their mother tongue or language.
Let alone
Samoan.
Let alone in Samoan.
Yeah.
So to be able to, the players, the management, to create that environment that they're feeling confident to express themselves and try to speak our Samoan language, that was really heartwarming.
Leadership's massive. Obviously, as Lemalu talks around, coming into this environment, I came into this environment back in 2007. Totally new for me. The culture was amazing, and I had some of the leaders, Branley Ma, Simo Satiti, and Henry Solga, come in there. Those leaders, was such a big part of me how much I enjoyed my experience about being in the team, and that's what they do. You know, they lead from example, but they're a major part of the team. And I think with the group we've got a great mix in our leadership group this year, and excited for them to sort of mould the up and coming players that we have into the best players they can be. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna follow up with that, you being the classic example of doing a lot to
What, plastic?
Still not comfortable sticking some.
Yeah.
There goes the mocking.
How's your Samoa now, Kaino? Thank you, Samoa.
Hey, he was wearing that on a shirt. That's where he got it from.
Thank you,
I'll
Samoa.
be saying my prayers for you tomorrow.
Speaking of rugby and coaching development, as we've seen NPC, the National Provincial Championship in Samoa, sponsored by Federal Pacific. You've worked in some professional environments. The importance of capacity building for our coaches, which is something that's needed for rugby on island, working with Lakapi Samoa development and high performance.
Yeah, I think what we've seen is, in terms of like the players and the numbers that are playing, like it's there. In terms of the raw talent, it's there. But I think, and this is to improve the talent that we have on island, is I think what we're missing at the moment is just development of the coaches that are involved, because like these coaches aren't paid to, they're not paid to coach these teams, but they're volunteers. And for us as a union, it's important for us to upskill the coaches, but not just upskill them, but also for us to understand why they're doing it, and also what they're giving back to the community, because they're giving something back to the community too. They feel a sense of belonging to that community, to that, to the village, to the nguu. So for us, I think that's the missing piece to help the players develop more in terms of the rugby side of things.
Yeah, well, what sort of skills do the local coaches need most support with?
I think rugby is a basic game. It's all about like
The fundamentals.
the fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's all about doing that over and over and over again, and not being sick of doing it over and over again.
Becomes
these
good habits.
Yeah, it becomes
Yeah.
it becomes a habit. So under pressure, they're able to do that. And there was like a video that I watched on YouTube and with Kobe Bryant. He's someone that someone spoke about him, about watching him train, but watching him train and doing the basics over and over and over again, and asked him like, what is it? You're the best player in the world, but you do such easy things, And his answer was, I do it because it's not easy, because it has to be done over and over and over again, but it's what's needed to be done. So I think that's where we need to get to as players, to be able to close that gap between when they come from here on island to anywhere around the world.
Speaking of habits, Kaino, what habits separate good players from great players?
I mean, Lemalu alluded to it there, but intensity. Like, to me, when I was looking at it today, the talent's definitely there, the intensity. And a lot of talent out there, but if you're brutally honest, like the fitness levels and their intensity of back-to-back efforts, doing something, like, because I talked around the basics, but fitness levels is massive. Like, if you go into their next level of rugby, you've got to be fit. You've got to have the mindset. It's got to be a back-to-back efforts, and you've got to be committed. So, and it's simple stuff. That's simple stuff that can be done, but it's just that knowledge and educating the players around what they live. They don't know what it looks like. They're on island. You know what I mean. If you're not exposed to what and that intensity is, it's hard to get there. So it's trying to create that intensity here on Ireland and what that looks like for them to actually take that next step.
And that's what you've done in the past week, leading on to next week as well, getting out to the villages and the districts, not only in the Polu, but also in the big island of Savaii, assisting with the fundamentals. How is that like so far? And looking into that, carrying into the field of play during the competitions, like how it was on Saturday.
I think first and foremost, it's a privilege for us to come and do that. It's a privilege for us to come back to. I was born here, so then to come back and to give back to the jersey that had done so much for me. It's a privilege for me. So to go out there, and it was a slow start. I can't lie. Tested my patience, but then I haven't got much patience. But as Kane knows,
A few grey hairs there.
Yeah. But I mean, but then once they got it, they were able to actually do it, and that showed me okay. So then, if they're getting the right coaching every day at training, then how far can we go? What does that look like for us?
It's an important point that you mentioned. A lot of these coaches, semi-professional coaches, in terms of they have day jobs and then they volunteer. Some are teachers and some are just the ordinary Samoan bloke. Women coming into rugby as well. We have some women coaches doing the same. But you speak much about the fundamentals, the basics, keeping it simple and keeping it real. Effort and talent. A little bit about that and how it's important to grow that seed early in grassroots, and how you see it coming to fruition in international level.
We were different. Kane was talented, and I was probably the effort person. So
effort needs no talent.
Yeah, the effort areas for me was okay, this will probably I can get those talented players on,
because there's a lot of raw talent in Samoa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talent will get you in the door. It won't take you
Yeah.
anywhere. It will just get your foot in the door. Effort is where that's what takes you.
It doesn't take effort
There's a lot of talent
to chase the ball back and forth in the field of play.
Yeah, it doesn't take effort to get up after carrying, get up off the ground, reloading.
Yeah.
It doesn't take effort to chase the ball, and then when their ball gets kicked back and we attack, to get back. It doesn't take effort to if someone makes a break, to support. That's just at the end of the day, that's a decision for me. Do you want to, or you don't want to?
But that effort is also done far away from the playing field. It's done in the week. It's done on your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesdays, your Thursdays before you get to Saturday, and that's
Consistency.
some of the exposure you've got to expose the players to here, and it's massive.
Yeah,
and there's some great examples. Like you talk about Theo, and obviously he's obviously got so much talent, but he's got both his total package, his effort, what he does on the field is massive. So it's about taking that talent and then effort, and then you obviously get the total package, which I probably feel Theo was in terms of a player. Obviously.
Yeah, Theodore came through the pathway for Theo was from Samoa through the system here, growing up here, and obviously some good nuggets for him growing up, learning about consistency of effort, but. Leads on to how much of success today is talent versus discipline, which is another important part of it, and consistency, moving in making it international level.
Effort is talent will get your foot through the door. It'll get you obviously coaches looking at you, but it's the effort will take you through to being consistently in the money. You might get one tour, you know what I mean? You come into a team, any professional team, you might get a year in the team for talent. If you don't prove yourself or consistently perform, or that effort's not seen, it's a very quick career. You're going to be. There's always someone ready to put in that effort. So you've always, and that's the thing, when you get to that level, it's always about continuing and getting better and better, because there's youth, there's always someone younger, stronger, fitter, willing to come into that position. So that effort's, you've got to be there the whole time through your whole career as a professional rugby player. It can't slack off, otherwise you're pretty soon forgotten.
And I'm sure Kane's probably had players that he grew up with that were way more talented, like myself.
Sorry?
Okay, so then that's probably just me then. I had players like in my era that was way more talented. Like we sometimes talk with my mates back at school, and we're like, "Wow, where's that guy now? Like, remember him?" Like, you know, like, because like, back then, like, they were like so talented. You're like, "Oh man, this is going to be an All Black." You know, that guy's going to play for Manu Samoa. You know, for a long period of time, but they haven't. And you know, what
it begs the question.
like, and what I learned too, like growing up, like my old man used to always say, like, what you put in is what you get out. E wha maongi I mea ke whai. O mea whangai maua mai au. You know, so, and that always, that was embedded in me. Like, I wasn't the most talented like Kane was. And
I played 10 growing up.
So I had to work a little bit harder in the effort areas, you know, to show that, maybe we can pick this dude.
Yeah, it's an important topic, because now we've selected some players from this competition on Island, National Provincial Championship. And you've had some sessions with obviously Warren Solomona, Taunu Unilevaea. Yes, they've been in the system under 20s and 7s. But, you know, is it what you're talking about that's missing with these players and trying to bridge the gap before coming into tour with the Manu?
That's a great question. Like, the little nuances of, like, for example, Warren, right? Watching him today, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me talking about him, is when he comes from a wide breakdown and their ball goes to a pod off 9 or off 10, when he gets up, like, at the moment, his habit is to watch the ruck. Where,
watching.
Yeah, where the top players in the world will be reloading 2 seconds to reload. As they're reloading, they're looking up. Is it on this side? No, it's not on. Okay, I'm around the corner. You know, I'm on someone's hip where I can use my speed and my talent to actually be effective. So, and that's difference at the moment. But like that's an easy fix. You know, that's just coaching. So that'll help him in terms of developing and growing his play in the game, and that's what's exciting for us.
It's learning's an exposure, just to that
exposure.
That's what it is.
And consistency in doing that.
It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to. You just don't develop that. You need guidance, and you know that's from coaching. It's from that leadership group that we talked around as well, and it's around, as long as the player is willing to learn and put in that effort, then of course we've got all the time in the world as coaches to develop that player. But you've got to have that mindset that you're willing to obviously put in that effort and learn as well.
And definitely Warren does have that mindset, because I've seen it, you know, during the week.
Yeah, and one of the players that we worked in the past couple of years as well, that's come into the system from the NPC, moving into Moana as a pathway, Tuna, Tuitama, and Peta. It's a Peta of four that's now in the mix. There's progression in those players. But holistically, in terms of the Federal Pacific Insurance NPC this year, you know, your views on how the competition sits and the role it plays into the future of Manu Samoa.
I think it's got a massive role in terms of like exposing these players to that level where the best play the best, right? So it's up to us now and Lakapi Samoa to develop the coaching, develop the players to be able to close that gap when they do go overseas and then end up playing Super Rugby NPC, play in Europe, Japan, and then end up coming to Manu Samoa, because that then becomes like this. The NPC is the pathway to become to Manu Samoa.
The opportunities that rugby gives you, in life is massive, and it's there's a lot of players that we saw play out there today that have that ability with that hard work, with that, to actually go on and make a career and see the world, and not only develop in rugby but to develop as a human as well, around what you see, and bring back these experiences and keep on growing Samoa and rugby. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, with the restrictions around eligibility, it's different for Samoa compared to other countries of the world. The various layers that all the players are within a certain geographical area, but for Samoa, it's scattered around the world. You've done some visitation recently in the past couple of months, where we've been right to the doorstep of the players with their families and the clubs. Why is that important?
Oh, it's massively important to get face to face. I think those connections that you can get. Sometimes we see players in a rugby environment, as you say, it's a short campaign, 3 weeks, and sometimes it's just rugby. On those catch-ups and obviously visitations, so we actually got to see the players in their natural environment, sit down, have a coffee, and actually learn a little bit more around the players as well, which is great. And I thought it was massively worthwhile to not only from a rugby point of view, but from a personal point of view as well around the players. So thoroughly enjoyable. And I think massively beneficial from a coaching group. And it's obviously a lot of those players, some of those players we met with, potentially new players coming to play for the Manu. So obviously just trying to have those conversations around what the Manu is and give them a little bit of information and enlighten them around the experience that they'll get. So no, massive.
Yeah, they were shocked. We were actually like, we rang up some players and they were like, oh yeah. And then when we said, oh yeah, we'll come and meet you, like sort out a cafe that we can come meet you at. They were like, what?
In the UK?
UK, France.
In France.
They're like, what? Oh yeah, okay, cool. So as Kane alluded to, in terms of like their natural environment, it was awesome to actually converse with them, where it wasn't just about rugby. It was like what they were going through at the time. It could have been, they weren't playing at the moment because of selection. It could have been around injuries. They were just coming back from injuries. But just being there and having them see us face to face was just massive for not just their trust in the coaching, but also their trust in actually Lakapi Samoa, where they've organised for us to come over.
Yes.
They've put time towards getting us over there and having that connection that we're able to build a relationship, which was great for us.
How important is trust and connection, before talking rugby?
If I didn't trust Kane, then I would tell him, you can't play on the field, mate.
Yeah, the importance of that, because obviously word is what counts. It's happened in the past with the Manu, and moving forward, we got the World Cup just next year. The trust between the players themselves, the management, having the right mix. You guys want to speak a little bit about that?
From a playing point of view, trust is massive. You try and be up front. I mean, I think all the players know that this jersey is not handed to you. I think they know that. I think we've been pretty clear that you've got to earn that jersey, and whether that's a lot of it's performance in the blue jersey, some of it's obviously performance with their club and what they have. But regardless of when they get that opportunity to play in the blue jersey, that they've got to perform and stuff. And so that's been up front. I think every player should be well aware of that. It's a privilege, as we always talk around in the Samoa jersey. You don't own the jersey. You're looking after it, and obviously you want to leave it in a better place than when you came into it.
trust is all about honesty. Like, and even when we were playing, like, it was about, if you weren't playing, I need honesty from the coach. Anything that I asked of a coach, then I need honesty, and that's how I roll in terms of, sometimes honesty is funny for players, right? It's honesty is to give a player sometimes is when they want it, you know, but as a coach, when they want it, like when it suits him, it's not always when it suits him. So in terms of selection, like if I'm being honest with a player, it's how I message it. So if I message it to a player that, look, you're not selected because of look, for example, you're not selected because I need, from this game, I need like a kicking game, and I need a long kicking game. But his strength is about running the ball. So sometimes that honesty to a player is like, and the reality of the player and what he sees himself in is different to what we see. But for us as coaches, when we give that honesty, then we've done our job. Then it's about how we message it, but also how can we create an environment where they can still learn from it and still be engaged on what we want from them.
And the professionalism that's also shown with that dialogue that you have with the players.
So basically what Tusi's saying there is, when he wasn't picked for the Manu, he needed to be let down lightly.
When was I ever? When was I ever not picked?
Mind you, he was Fimono's best. He was for his best pick anyway. So
I don't want to say a story about someone, but
yeah. But during that visitation, the importance of the things that happened outside of the rugby field, some of the big names that you visited up in the UK and France, and in the headlines as well, trying to switch to Samoa, Manu Samoa. How was the conversation around, the switch to come to Samoa, the level he's playing at, and also the fundamentals of the honesty that you're talking about and the trust that, it's the jersey's not there just to... It's a privilege to have.
So it was really humbling to get to converse with Manu in terms of, like, he's done it all, right? He's been one of the best midfielders in the world. He's played for England at multiple World Cups. But what we got from him, and just talking to Kane afterwards, was he's such a humble player where not one time did we think, this guy thinks he's already in the team if he comes over. So he knew, what he said was, that really stuck with me was, I know what it takes to get to a World Cup. And if I'm not good enough, when I come and compete to get to the World Cup, then I won't be selected. And to me, that was massive, because that showed me that, yes, he knows what it takes, but he also knows the competitiveness in that environment and of the players that are there. So, it was awesome. Awesome to catch up with him.
He, obviously a lot of publicity around it from the English papers around him, and for him, he said it wasn't really real until we turned up at his doorstep, and and so he definitely buttered me up a little bit for that French red wine over there.
No, but like in terms of what Kane's saying, like it wasn't really real from, because I remember talking to him on the phone, like, like, what are you up to, or are you free to catch up? And he was like, like blasé in terms of, Then when I said, I want to come to your house, and he's like, huh? Like, okay, cool. Like, he was so excited about us coming. So us just being there and just having a talk to him and what it means to him too. Like, obviously his brothers have played and
Alexander, you played with Andy.
Andy.
Henry.
Yeah, my
Henry,
roommate for my
Freddie.
first World Cup. A few stories. Yeah, a few stories.
How was that? Probably the most humbling is Manu, and rightly so. Named after Manu Samoa, the name of the team. What a great story that would be. If it comes into fruition. Coach, what message would you give to the players overseas who may dream of representing Samoa one day?
Like when I talk to players that haven't played for Samoa, I always say to them, it's not until you come into the environment that you understand what it's all about. And you talk to any player that's played for Samoa, they will say to you, like, it's not actually when I was actually in there that I understood what guys were talking about. So, and that's like myself as well. Like, it wasn't until I actually immersed myself into, or said, yes, I want to play for Samoa, and then being in the environment and the culture and then the boys, like, it wasn't until then that I sat back and I thought, man, what a privilege. What a privilege to represent my country. What a privilege to represent my family, my culture. And that's what it is. It's a privilege. It's like, you're never entitled to something, but you're there. You're there in terms of the environment to actually strive to get that jersey.
Yeah, and it's a unique experience as well for Manu Samoa, and quite different from any other team, and how the culture and everything else that's done in there. And I suppose it's also important to keep the relationships and the fire burning, like the visitations that you have face to face, with put together by Lakapi Samoa and moving forward. But just your playing days, how different do you think is Manu Samoa today compared to when you wore the jersey?
Are we talking about nights out here for Kane?
I was a little bit earlier than Tusi over there. I was 2007, so we're probably in a little bit of a little bit later on.
Some of the positives,
so some of those really obviously old heads, legends of Manu Samoa, and it was such a big experience for me coming to play for Samoa, like getting to play alongside of. From being obviously New Zealand born Samoan, being exposed, immersed in the culture, it was crazy. I loved it. Like Tusi said, around not until you're actually in the team. When I first came over, I was like, well, unsure, but slowly it just grows. It was amazing. It was amazing, and trainings and being looked after. Like, I think Brian Lemalu was my first captain. Seymour took over, so right there, just two guys that definitely looked after me, and had a massive effect on my time in the Manu Samoa. I loved it. Yeah, loved it. That's why I came back year after year after year, and I was so proud to represent this country that I hadn't spent so much time in, but just my family, and obviously, I'm very proud.
Yeah,
white Samoans. Palagi Samoans is I've been told a couple of times over here in Samoa.
Yeah, because your family's from Malifa. Yeah. So and you did spend a lot of time. How long were the campaigns back then?
My first visitation, I think I came over from New Zealand, so it was. All the professional guys weren't here, so it was I think trial. So I trialed. I think I was maybe 2 or 3 of us professional players at the trial. So it was.
Really, like what he's saying was, I think he was entitled. He thought he was entitled to be in the team.
I think I had a target on my back, kind of. It was good. You got a real feel for the rugby here. It was pretty much like the game just sort of the physical. You took your hits. You earned your stripes for sure. And it was
a bit different for you, Lemalu.
He got the rolled out the red carpet. Did he ever trial? I'm not too sure.
No.
You didn't do trials, eh?
Yeah, I did.
You get a Hemi.
I came in obviously 2011, probably the start of that season, and my first campaign was the PNC, and then we had before the PNC we had a trial at Maris, the old Maris grounds.
Oh yeah, Lotapa, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know,
We see like some potholes in the ground.
yeah, like you saw, like, you know, the guys that were already in, like, you had like Alessana, you had George Stowers, you know, standing in the grandstands, and us newbies in there, like, trying to make the team. And so, yeah, I was fortunate enough to make it. But then off that was, and this is what's like what I tell players is that, like, you've got to be yourself. And that's what I tell players, like, when you come into the Manu, like, you understand how you've been brought up. There's a VAR, right? But at the same time, you've got to be yourself. You've got to bring your
Your own persona. Yeah.
Personality. You've got to bring, and that's what the Manu's all about, right? It's not like one and done. Like, this is how you've got to be. No. When you come into the Manu, like, you've got to bring your personality, but also how we've been brought up as from a young age, like, you know, the VAR between you and the elders.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Kane's probably found it hard in that space.
I was never late for a meeting. I heard some of the stories. I'll tell you what. 20 minutes before I was sitting there. I'm a meeting.
It's the respect is there, and that's what keeps it going.
Yeah.
You know, Leva, as you spoke
Yeah.
about, it's happened in schools back in the day, and that's what, you know, fuels us to be perfect, to try and the effort to be perfect. But speaking of trials that you had and how you guys made the team, there's always you know murmurs about. Maybe that's how we should bring the Manu back, have trials in Samoa. Is that a possibility against Regulation 9, eligibility issues, financial constraints, having trials back here in Samoa? How's that in the next few years? Coach, what do you say about that?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. You put it like, you know, like I went to on the, was it Tuesday? I went to, where was it? Tauna'u's village.
Oh, Ana.
Ana.
Yeah,
So I
Ana
went there,
district. Yeah.
and there's a big cage, like a fence around the field, right?
At first, time.
Yeah, so there's a big fence around the field. And I just envisioned, like, us having a trial in that cage,
Out in the village.
out in the village, in that cage, and just go at it.
Yeah.
Like, the best of the best, and then whoever crawls out, those are the guys that are in it.
Yeah, it's easier said than done these days with the Regulation 9 windows. Obviously, some of our viewers, you know, a lot of people are not educated with Regulation 9 and what it means. Can you guys just simplify it briefly for the viewers and how that affects Manu Samoa selection?
There are windows where we get eligibility to our players, and obviously, like the clubs, they pay their salaries. Let's be honest, they pay the salaries for their players, and so there's those international windows where Samoa obviously gets, they become eligible to play for Samoa in those windows. Outside of those windows, they're owned by the clubs. They're not owned by Samoa. We can't obviously tell them to come in there, and that's where they make majority of their money, and that's important, obviously, for the family and for themselves. And so there are times where there's a crossover where, you know, and it's a lot of the time, you know, you play for your country, but it's hard, and we understand that. That's the modern age of rugby. That's why All Blacks are playing in Japan. That's why people are taking big contracts all around the world, because financially it's a job at times, even though when you come back and play for the Manu, it's, you know, you're playing for a lot more than a job. You're playing for a country, you're playing for the jersey, you're playing for your people. But it's a hard one. It's a hard one. And so eligibility windows, basically we're allowed our players through that window outside of that window, they're owned by their clubs.
Yeah, we've qualified for the World Cup, coach. This is the first campaign after the qualification at the end of last year. The steps towards Australia 2027.
That's a really good question. First, I'll touch on qualifying for the World Cup. And qualifying for the World Cup, we had to take the long route. But at the end of the day, we qualified. So then, for me, is that all the hard work that's been taken to qualify, let's bank it. Okay, let's bank that. And then now it's, what's needed now to have a successful World Cup? What does that look like? And it was 91 and 95 when we first made the quarterfinal, right? So what does that look like for my staff and my coaching group? What does that look like for how we want to shape this team heading into the World Cup? So let's start from after the 𝐓𝐀𝐿, and now it's our first campaign of the year, and this is this Nations Cup. So the work that's been put in by the performance team, which has consisted of the S&C, head of medical, which is S&C Ben Norcott, head in S&C Ben Norcott, head of medical Philippa Masoi, Doc Sean Mawili, Ian Tuputala, performance analyst, and then the coaches. Like, there's been a 6-week block where we've had to monitor players, where they've had to reach out to the club's medical staff, the players themselves, fill in sheets in terms of minutes played, what their program is, strength and conditioning. And basically, this period for us now is the monitoring period where we're monitoring players to come into camp ready to go. And we only have 3 days before our first scrimmage against Chile, which the first time we've had in terms of the monitoring period was the 𝐓𝐀𝐿. So these steps being put in place from the staff and management now to give us the best opportunity to be successful. So for me, we have lotus every night to pray to our Lord Jesus Christ to help us, bless us with wisdom, strength and courage to be able to do this, right? But we need to do our part, and we are at the moment. We are doing our part in terms of preparing these players to have the best opportunity to succeed. Whether we do, whether we're not, that's up to the man upstairs. But we can only do our part in terms of preparation. And then after this is more organisation. Organisation to the venues in terms of the Rugby World Cup.
In Australia?
Yeah. In Australia, in terms of getting ready for the November test matches. So there's a lot of work that needs to be put in, but we're doing that. And why do we do that? Is because this team's always been about the people's team. It's never been my team. It's never been Honoree's team. It's never been Foy's team. It's never been Williams' team. It's always been, this is the people's team. And as Kane said, the responsibility that we have to the people, we don't take that lightly. You know, I don't spend time away from my family and sacrifice time from my wife, time from my son, to be here and give it and be half-hearted. Like that time that I'm spending away and the sacrifice that they've made for me to be here, like it's like I can't describe it in words, but why that is, because it's always for the people, right? It's what Kane talked about in 2011, where I saw the old people come and chuck the last money that they had for the week for the players. And why was it? Because it's the people's team. And that's our responsibility. And that just shows that we don't take that lightly, and we will never take that lightly. And whoever's in this role, I'm sure they won't take that lightly too. And the players that put on that jersey, they have a responsibility too.
Apart from the results, Coach, when people look back at this chapter of Manu Samoa, what story do you hope is being told?
That every campaign that we went to, and it doesn't matter which player you talk to, they were prepared to the best of their ability to perform. Whether that's from the board to the staff to the management to the players. And that when people saw the performances, whether it's a win or a loss, they were like, I am so proud of that person that actually put on that jersey.
And I'll say that let's hope that journey takes us out of the pool qualifying stages for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Because that will be obviously just, what I think, Samoa needs, and the effort that's gone in, it will be great to see us, all that hard work coming to fruition and lead us on into that next round for the World Cup.
But that will come.
And that comes from doing those little things.
Yeah.
They
That
just
will
chucking
come
it out
in terms of what we do in our preparation.
And that's what people see, you know what I mean? That just talked about the preparation, massive, but I know that's what the people want.
Yeah.
They want it. They want it, and I think the steps have been taken for the hard work this man's put on, and everyone's put in. That those steps will come, and I think we'll be in a good stead.
A couple of the questions that pops up every cycle, and the cycle, for the sake of our viewers and supporters that might not know, is a 4-year cycle from after every other World Cup. The hard work that you guys put in the Manu, it goes without saying, but it also goes unnoticed. It is a lot of hard work because you got your backs against the wall, coming up against Regulation 9 and eligibility, where if we had all the players, the Samoan national players available to us, how good of a team that would be for Manu Samoa.
You just look around world rugby, you look around the competitions around the world, how many Pacific Island players are playing in those, and are the standout best performers in those competitions in the world. It's a high percentage. Where Manu Samoa are at, how much access do we get to those top players? Probably not a lot. If you look at some of the rules around Japan, what players are dealing with agents around uncapped players getting contracts in Japan, it's a lot easier to go and get a $300,000-$400,000 contract in Japan if you don't play for Samoa. There's no doubt about it.
That's a big hindrance for us.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. And so going back to the players that
And we
play
had
for
some
them,
names, yeah.
they sacrifice sometimes a lot financially, a lot for their families to put on the blue jersey. You look at New Zealand, like I know you've had Moana there, but Samoan players, some of them born and bred in New Zealand, some of them lived there from a teenager. They're foreign players in Super Rugby. People don't know that. They're not domestic players. So if they want to play for Samoa, they are then a foreign player in New Zealand, which is a country they call home. It does not make it easy. So there's always choices. So those players that come and represent Samoa, it's a big sacrifice for them as well. It's massive. Because sometimes they are putting financial, family on the back burner to come and actually represent and play for this country. So, and it's hard. It's hard, as you know, Europe, sometimes there's constraints. You know, we've talked about eligibility around those windows, and there's pressure from clubs for them to be available for their clubs, and that's where the money gets earned. So there's always going to be constraints around Samoa. That's what you deal with. And if you didn't have those constraints, the competition, should I say, for spots would be a whole lot more competition. I mean, we've got a great squad. We continue to have great squads throughout, but that competition would grow and grow if we had more accessibility to players. There's no doubt about it.
And in saying that also, the quality of competitions and players, the Samoan players that are eligible and available to play for us, is perhaps not in the threshold that it was before, and making selection more difficult in the big picture for us.
Yeah, as Kane touched on it, like especially because I reside in Japan, and it's really hard for a young player that wants to play for Samoa to choose between Samoa and to look after his family in terms of living. So how is he going to look after his family when he comes to play for Samoa, becomes a cap player?
Affects their contract
in the contract in terms of making it easier for them to be in Japan.
And that's a fight we're doing at Lakapi Samoa, that seat in the council in World Rugby, in which currently our chairman is on his way to Dublin for that meeting and continue to fight us, Fiji, Tonga, and the rest of the other tier 2 nations. So it's a battle that's in all layers, the top level, decision makers, management, players, and affects everybody. And then, of course, our supporters and the people, in which we say it's the people's team. Leading on to the task at hand in a couple of weeks in South America. Looking at Hong Kong, Georgia, Romania, the challenges they present. What excites us about this team that we're taking to South America?
Oh, it's a great opportunity. Like Hong Kong, are obviously new to World Rugby stage in terms of but they play an exciting brand. Obviously with some domestic players, but a lot of expat community. They bring a wealth of experience through Kiwi, Australian, and South African players within their squad. Georgia, as we know, have been pushing hard to be a part of the Six Nations. So they're right there. They are knocking at the door to be a tier 1 team. So it's a massive test match for us. And Romania, just traditionally strong in that forward play. There's just there's no easy outs around with playing these teams. They're going to present a physical. So basically it's what I see in terms of a forwards point of view is get a feeling of where we're at, because these packs are going to be tough, they're going to be strong, they're going to be uncompromising. So can we stand up? Can some of those young players that we've selected, can they front up and dominate in that set piece area, contact area, which we're going to need them if we're actually going to walk away with results on this July tour. So it's a great test for us, and that's the challenge that lies ahead of us, because I think the challenge is going to be one up front first. It's going to have to be one up front. If we're going to beat these teams, we're going to have to allow our backs, give the backs front foot ball and a good platform to work off if we're going to beat the teams in July.
Yeah, obviously with this new format at the Nations Cup, first phase in July and then the second one in November with the Northern Hemisphere tour. Coach, the key message to the players for July?
I think it's funny you say that, because I talked to the leadership group on a Zoom and the clear message is to win the Nations Cup. And that's the only message and the clear message. And what we'll be going through in terms of how we do that and what that looks like is when we get into camp. And at the moment where, you know, where we meet up with the leadership group, the tech strat group, the feed strat group, and how the players be able to view the content of rugby when we come into camp. So we're not starting again. It's a continuity of from the 𝐓𝐀𝐿 to this campaign to the next November campaign, pre-World Cup, and then into the World Cup. So there's no excuses of we only get a couple of days together before we have our first scrimmage or first test match. It's a reality, right? So as a management staff, coaching staff, like we've got to do, like I said before, everything possible to give the best opportunity for these players to perform at the highest level.
Nice. Just winding down our conversation and our podcast today. Rugby people often see coaches, but who are Tusi and Kane, you know, away from rugby? What keeps you guys grounded? Leadership with children at home. And if rugby didn't exist, what could you have been doing?
Like I said to you,
don't tell me you play cricket.
like I said to you, Saw,
You can't
anything I wanted to do, whether it's cricket or golf, I'll be the best in the world.
We should go for a golf course. Get JT to plan up one for us. He always talks about his golf, but
and my dad and my mum are the biggest role models for me in terms of I never had really like role models growing up like in rugby, but what they did for me in terms of like the hard work that they put into me and my brothers and even my sister, like taking us to trainings, like always putting us first, like providing us the best they could give us at that time. That to me was everything. And now, like when I have my own family, the biggest thing for me is my wife and my son. So being away from them and them allowing me to follow my dream and them sacrificing, my wife sacrificing her career for me, and my son sacrificing the time that I get to spend with him.
As a teenage growing up.
Is hard. And I'm just finding that out now in terms of like, man, he's just been accepted to a school that he wanted to be
in Japan.
Japan. But then now it's like, you know, they go through puberty, they're going through like things that
conversation with you,
exactly.
As a dad.
As a dad, and for me not being there is tough on me, tough on him, also tough on my wife. But man, she's a trooper. Like she takes care of everything. Like all I have to do is come here, make sure like I don't know, like she takes care of everything, like everything. So it allows me to come here and focus on what I need to do. But that's all credit to them in terms of the sacrifice that they've given.
Yes, of course. Tell her, you know, behind every success.
Everything. You know, I had the privilege of actually spending some time with them on the tour in Japan. But even when we were traveling through France, and whenever there's a problem, it's us on the phone. I don't know what we're doing. I've got to check my phone. I haven't booked this. I haven't done this.
Tell us onto it.
Yeah, I've got no idea what's going on, to be honest.
No, I tell her. And, you know, it's a good thing because, well, I think he was right about not being talented with anything at all. Like,
you're right. Nothing.
and it was a good point that you made. You know, our parents' sacrifice. You know, it's a story that's been told year after year. Our ancestors who paved the way for all of us, and for similar for you, Kaino.
Well, no family, no kids.
Sacrifices.
If I wasn't here coaching, I'd be with my backpack exploring the world. That's what I obviously love this game, and it's given me so much. I also love to travel. I love learning new cultures and getting out there and exploring, and that's part of who I am. I still love to do it, and rugby's given me that obviously ability to get out there and experience a lot of cultures and travel, it's been great, and I've loved every moment of it, especially obviously being in this team and being exposed in such an intimate setting here, and obviously in Samoa, which obviously my grandmother, she passed away before I was born, and obviously, like I said, we're a very proud Samoan family, but there hasn't been that linkage. So my mum came back here. She actually lived here for a little bit, but she traced back the family roots, and that's been awesome. It's been awesome just sort of linking that back up, and the family's very, very proud, and it's great to be here and with Samoa as a player and as a coach, and obviously representing my family, but obviously representing this small country that bats above its weight, especially when it comes to the sporting scene. So it's great.
Yeah, speaking of intimacy, a couple of questions that keep popping up. Is Kane married? As a poster boy of the Manu back in the day, apart from Tusi here.
Unavailable.
Yeah, you're available. Available still. To wrap up our conversation today, Lemalu, leo ta pena man Samoa, mo le ipo langi mo tatu savalinga, upo le atanu, le silita I tapuai, e tolanga pe ona, fo tapu inga so se faiva fo e tapu ia, e lava manuia, e le ngata fa mo le anga I Chile, America I Saute, il fa mo Nations Cup. Fa pe fo I po langi il tau sanga fo I Australia, pe mfana sa noa. I upfala I au fo I le tapu inga le atunu, male tulanga mo mia le tapu inga, se tatu tunu pelo Samoa.
Le mo lava na sivi inga sai le to o me fai fo I tato ma futai fo I le nei taimi. Matala no fo I me Lakapi, ai o ka po inga. E sile ma mau wat ka po inga. In mako au. Iso se me mako fai. I just want to say that all your prayers that you make in the mornings, every evening, all our elders that every day that prays for us and the team, thank you, and that we will do the best as we can as management and staff, coaches, and also the players to make you proud. And thank you for all your prayers. Thank you for all your well wishes, and just get behind us, because at the end of the day, like I said, this is the people's team, or the Aulea or Samoa, and we want you to know that, because all we do and all we prepare for is to make you guys proud. So get behind us, and we'll take all your prayers, and we'll do the best we can. Whaftai lava.
Maro whaftai, and that's our show today. Thank you very much for wasting your time, Lemalu and Kaino. All the best for the Nations Cup.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our episode of Lakapi Talk, in which we've had some shared stories, some insights and conversations right here at the heart of Samoan rugby at Lakapi Samoa. Join us again in the next episode of Lakapi Talk. For the meantime, to Fasui 4.